Great, thanks, Nick.
Excellent.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this library board meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. I'm first going to read this blip I have here. And library board meetings are available live through Zoom, and recordings may be posted online on County of Huron's YouTube channel. You may be seen and or heard as part of these broadcasts, and your name, comments, and or presentations materials will become part of the public record. So just keep that in mind. Approval of the agenda. Looking for second. Moved by Member Smith, seconded by Member Slitsky. All in favor? That was carried. Declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Does anyone wish to declare at this time? Seeing none. Minutes of the previous meeting. Looking for a mover and seconder to pass the minutes of the meeting April 10th, 2024 to adopt them as circulated. Moved by Member Becker, seconded by Member Slinsky. All those in favor? That is carried. Presentations. There's none this meeting. Board member comments. Do any board member? Jane?
I attended the virtual meeting of the Ontario Library Service. It was just it was an overview of the training and the resources the Ontario Library Service offers board members of any size board. I attended the 40,000 to 80,000 group. And what was interesting for me this time was that the round table was really, really productive. A couple of times it's been bogged down on kind of personnel issues, and this time it was more here's how we're moving our library forward. Here's how we want to support the staff of the library. And then Bruce County was really excited to let everyone know that they have partnered with Bruce Power, and they have a book that will be up and running. It's been several years in the book or in the works, and it's up and running and proving remarkably successful.
Anything else? Warden McNeil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I did want to communicate with everyone, and everyone is likely aware that Alice Munro passed away yesterday. And I really want to thank Beth and their comms team for putting together some comments that I shared. The media reached out to me yesterday, Don Rolfe in Exeter, and I shared some comments with them that if, Mr. Chair, would it be suitable if I shared it with the board just for the knowledge of everyone?
Yes, go ahead.
Alice Munro, and the first thing I did was offered my sympathy on behalf of Huron County Council, CAO work, and all of our staff to Alice Munro's family in her passing. She was born in Wingham in 1931 and was Canada's only Nobel Prize winner for literature, amongst many other accolades throughout her writing career. She will live on in her writing and in the hearts of readers and writers who were inspired by her. It goes without saying that Alice Munro has had a tremendous impact on Huron County, our region, Ontario, Canada, and the world. Through her creativity and captivating storytelling abilities, she reflected the everyday rituals of rural living in her writings, and she elevated these themes and shared them on an international stage. She proved that small towns could have big ideas and achieve incredible things. She was inspirational to so many people, not only in Huron County, beyond and throughout the world. The Huron County Museum and Historical Jail is honored to have a collection of Alice Munro's memorabilia in their collection, including signed and translated copies of her books, personal items, fan mail, typewriter, chair, and writing desk, and several literary prizes, including the Nobel Prize. Some of these items are currently on display at the Alice Munro Library branch in Wingham, and many of these items can be viewed on the museum's online collection. We're very honored to participate in an annual literary festival held each year in Huron County in Alice Munro's name. Each year, we celebrate and encourage local authors through the short story contest hosted by Huron County Library at the Alice Munro Festival of the Short Story. This event will continue in 24 and will be held in locations throughout Huron County from the 5th to the 9th of June. Alice Munro was a literary giant who was esteemed by readers and who inspired writers around the world. We in Huron County are very proud of her accomplishments, and grateful to be part of the community that she once called home. And thank you very much to Beth and all involved in that information. And thank you very much for that, Mr. Chair, and I want to share it.
Thanks for that, Warden McNeil. Any other member comments this time? Seeing none, I guess we'll move on now then to reports from the county librarian. Our first one's the Perth South Library contract.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. This report just serves to update board members on the status of our contract with Perth South. As you can see in the report, we did sign that in April to contract for service with them again in 2024. With respect to it's an ongoing process. There are a few more details since the report was submitted. I had reached out to the Perth South CAO just to know how they were proceeding so we could let staff know, or if Perth South residents were asking our staff for more information. And at that time, they did indicate that we could share with Perth South residents that they would be, if they purchased a St. Mary's or Stratford non-resident card, they could be reimbursed by the township for those costs. At a subsequent meeting held by the St. Mary's Library Board, they did make the decision that they will not offer non-resident cards to Perth South residents. And Stratford had a meeting last night. I don't know the outcome of that as far as how they are proceeding with non-resident cards in Stratford. So that is another update. Additionally, the Perth County Information Network, which is kind of a group of all of the Perth libraries, including North Perth, West Perth, and Perth East libraries. They did submit a letter to all of their members requesting that members do not negotiate service agreements with Perth South. And then I can speak locally that the South team in particular has noted an increase in Perth South residents coming to sign up for cards and receiving some questions about what that looks like moving forward for Perth South residents. So that is kind of update on where that stands as of now. And if anything further comes to light, I will be sure to share that with board members.
Thank you for that report, Beth. Do any members have questions for Beth on this subject? Nick?
Thank you, Chair. Beth, the budget for Perth South it was slashed almost in half. I know you're our CEO and not Perth South CEO, but do you know what was the cause of such a dramatic cratering of the budget kind of thing?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't know specifically. In the media release from Perth South, they did indicate they felt that the cost of library service was increasing too significantly over the last number of years. That I guess I can't remember what year it had doubled from. About I think it was maybe from 2008 that they had seen a doubling in the cost of library service for Perth South. So that is one reason. And as we discussed last, Perth South has a new CAO, so they may be looking at different ways to approach service in Perth South. That could be another reason, but specifically I would look to what was submitted in the media release to Perth South.
Thank you.
Thanks for that question, Nick. Anything else? Any more questions? Member Salinsky?
Thanks. My question is, the impact on, our libraries if, of increased usage. At what point does that become, a real impact? Start looking at more staffing or more resources.
And through you, Mr. Chair, it is certainly something that we will be monitoring over the course of this year. In information sent out to library staff, we reiterated the process to register a Perth South resident so that we can clearly track patrons that are coming from Perth South. I think where we may see the highest increase in demand may potentially be our virtual resources, our ebooks, e-audio, and our e-resources that folks can use from anywhere, considering that maybe not all Perth South residents will travel regularly to our Huron County Library branches. But we will also monitor circulation, and that's something generally that we want to keep an eye on is our holds ratios, for example, for print and digital materials, as if those are exceeding our thresholds, we may need to invest more funds in our materials. Similarly, if we're seeing, you know, our programming increase because folks are coming from Perth South to participate in programs, that's something to monitor as well. However, you don't need a library card to attend joining our programs.
Any other questions on this subject? I know this is very, very concerning to people affected by this, and just reiterates the support that this board has with our council in Huron County, and I think we should all be proud of that and hope that that continues. And I guess Member Becker and I are here to carry the news back that we want to continue down the road where we're at now. Warden McNeil.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and well spoken. I just wanted to reinforce that at many library conferences, we hear other counties speak of the friction and lack of support between their libraries and their county councils. And you spoke very eloquently, Mr. Chair, on how much county council values and supports our libraries throughout the county. And unfortunately, that's not the same sentiment in other counties. However, Huron County Council values our libraries and holds them in very, very high regards, as you commented. So I just wanted to add to your comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Warden McNeil. You can get your message across far better than I can. John.
I agree with both comments because it's very unfortunate because right across the road from the library is Perth South. Those residents for years have used that facility to come there. That community is quite a close-knit community, and I'm sorry to see the funding cut back. But maybe we can work with the new people and work it back to where it is, should be.
Thanks for those comments.
Communication.
I'm looking for a mover and a seconder to accept this report of person for moved by Member Morgan, seconder Member Salinsky. All in favor, and that's carried. Next reports on administrative monthly updates.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. Just a few pieces that I will highlight in that report. As it does cover March, you'll see lots of programming and events around March break included in that report, which we love to see, and lots of great turnout to that. There is a local history project mentioned from Technical Services, and that was prompted by work that we're doing with the OGS Huron branch in finding a new location for their collection materials that are currently housed in the log cabin in front of the museum. There is also mention of the CPEN 2, that is one of our new technology pieces, assistive technology pieces that we're adding to our collection. That, along with several other technology pieces, were available to staff at our all staff day to kind of get familiar with. That included VR headsets, Yodo readers, envoys, microscopes that were demonstrated to staff so they could begin to feel more comfortable with those items that are in our collection. You also notice in our training, and I just want to highlight the strong focus on mental health training that staff have been participating in the last several months. And just to reiterate what the warden mentioned there, and it's in this report here, that we do have a new display featuring some of the Alice Munro materials available at our Alice Munro branch. So if you wanted to see any of those, you are welcome to. And if you do choose to attend the Alice Munro Festival in June, some of the additional items that are not on display permanently, or not permanently, but right now at the Alice Munro branch will be there. The museum will be participating in the Alice Munro Festival as well. But otherwise, I'm happy to respond to any questions that folks may have.
Any questions for Beth?
I don't have a question, but there's a typo
Okay.
on the first come, first served basis, not bases.
Thanks for that, members listening. Looking for a mover and seconder to accept this monthly reports update then. Moved by member Smith, seconded by member Webb offer. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next is the policy review, the proctoring policy update.
Thank you. So the board did see this last month, and this is just coming for final approval.
Yeah, I think I shared how I had to look up what that was all about. And, it's, any questions on that? Best here to answer them, not me. Looking for a mover and a seconder to accept that. Moved by member Selinsky, seconded by member Smith. All those in favor? Health and safety policy update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Similar to the previous policy, this was brought forward last month, and just looking for final approval for this policy.
Any questions for members on this health and safety? I know there were some concerns how we were going to be able to handle some of these things, and work alone was one of the things that was a concern to me. And member,
I think done a good job with the training to the staff, their safety and everything else, because of the new clientele that are moving into our small towns and everything else. It's great to see. And also giving support to these people that are coming to, come to the libraries, because they do need help at times. Got to be on both sides. It's great.
anything else? Looking for a mover to seconder then to accept this health and safety. Moved by Nick, seconded by Jane. All those in favor? That is carried. Safety, security, and emergencies in the library is the next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As with the prior two policies, the board did see this last month and looking for final approval. There was feedback last month with a suggestion to move one of the points. However, when we went back to look at it, we do feel like it belongs under 2.2 because it's speaking about preventative measures that we will be taking to support staff and looking at the ergonomics and working along procedures and those type of things. We do feel is a preventative thing that management should be taking care of for staff.
Any questions from the members on this one? Marlena?
Yeah, thank you very much for rewording that so that it fits better with them.
Yeah, we do need some treatment. Yes.
Looking for a mover to seconder, moved by member Becker, seconded by member Webber. All those in favor? Draft strategic planning policy.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This is the first time the board is seeing this policy. There are just minor updates to it, and then many suggestions from back next up.
Any questions, members on this report? Lena?
Yes, and point two. I fail to understand that part in parentheses about numbered list for single point lists, not multi-level lists.
That is probably a formatting note that should be removed. Yep.
Well, statistics, role of statistics. Having taught a graduate class in statistics, there's subgroups, there's particular groups that can get totally lost in means or medians or so, especially doing medical research, people with rare genetic things just appear as outliers. And if you look at the mean, they don't exist. So in this context, there may be special needs groups. Well, for example, we're already addressing people with disabilities that don't appear in population averages, but are there some other people that might be missed or could be identified by other means other than general statistics?
Yes, so we could add something to section 3 to indicate, I don't think, do we talk about mean in there, but more to focus on that we will collect a broad range of statistics to capture the diversity of Huron County, something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah, so something along that. Something that says that being sensitive to special needs, groups that might have special needs.
With that, the members, let's see.
Yeah, I'm sure Beth
She'll be bringing that back.
understands the purpose and will polish the wording.
Any other member comments on that? Looking for a mover and a seconder then for this draft strategic planning policy, which will approve, and it will come back to the next one. Moved by Warden McNeil, seconded by Member Smith. All those in favor? That is carried. The draft community information and displays policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this is the first time that the board is seeing this policy. Generally, the policy has just been strengthened a bit in light of some of the challenges that we've seen to collections and use of space. So making sure that flows through into the type of information that we are displaying in our branches as well. It will come back next month for final approval.
The question is, should we require removal date from people that want to post stuff? Not that I've ever seen anything that reference something that happened a month ago at any library management.
So it is, library staff are in charge of removing items. It's not the poster that they need to come back and move it by a certain date. That is completely within the purview of library staff to remove those posters.
But I'm thinking the library staff remove them, but is, the poster could suggest this is no longer needed after date X.
Yeah, I can talk about with that with staff and see if they feel like that would be something appropriate to add to the policy.
I don't know whether it would be helpful or just another step in.
Yeah.
I was pleased to read in this that staff have permission, or you give staff permission to remove your poster or whatever. I think that is very important that we have control. Any other thoughts on that? Is that sort of what the board is interested in and maintaining this control? Or I think that's very important.
I would agree with that.
Looking for a mover and a second and then to accept this report. Moved by member Slinsky, seconded by member Becker. All in favor? That is carried. Under correspondence, here's the first, the report on that is funding announcement for investment for First Nations public libraries. I guess it's good to see that, and I think that is one of the, you correct me if I'm wrong here, Beth, that's one of the groups that we have packaged books and are sending to places like this too for or are we?
That's a great point. We work with Better World Books to repurpose some of our materials that we've removed from our collection. I would need to verify the final destination of those. Otherwise, materials we don't send out via Better World Books, we usually utilize in our book sales, or depending on the condition, they would have to be either recycled or garbage.
I was impressed that on the bus trip we had, I guess, which is last year, when we got into the basement of the health unit building there and all the books that were there. And so it was, I was interested in hearing that we are trying to, move some of those books along to where they can be needed or appreciated. Just my own personal thoughts. Any other thoughts on this First Nations one? Looking for a mover and a seconder to accept that. Moved by member Morton, seconded by member Slinsky. All in favor? That is carried. There is no other correspondence. Financial statement. Presenting that.
Any questions?
Okay. Beth will take any questions on that if anybody has any. Looking for a mover and a second to then to accept this draft financial statement report. Moved by member Slinsky, seconded by member Wettlauer. All those in favor? That is carried. We have a closed to the public session today. That includes the chair and the deputy chair in evaluation of the fee. Well, I guess other members are free to part now, or are they gonna need to stay around to close this meeting?
Going up that definition, like, that's a little thing by that door that a lot of you. Oh, okay, they're all up. I'm coming to.
Looking for a motion to move into closed session. Moved by member Smith, seconded by member Slinsky. All in favor? It's carried.
Did we shut the door? Is that just not? Beats is gonna when she gets it.
Oh.
Motion to rise from closed session at 10:25. By member Becker, seconded by member Snitsky. All in favor? It's carried. Then I'll report out, we went into closed session to do a performance review of our CEO. And that was the only thing we went in for, and that was what we discussed. So we'll be having a meeting with the CEO at the next meeting. And that will be on next meeting at Huron County Library will be on Wednesday, June 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Do board members have anything else they want to discuss while we're still in session here? Looking for a mover and a seconder for adjournment. 6. Moved by member Martin, seconded by member Wetlocker. All in favor? That is carried. Okay.